My NFJ friend, let's talk about loneliness. Do you ever feel like you're surrounded by people, yet profoundly alone? Smiling, nodding, playing the part, but deep down, your soul feels like it's sitting in a separate room? If you're an INFJ, that aching sense of isolation might be a familiar companion. And here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with you. That loneliness is not a flaw. It's the cost of carrying depth in a world that worships the shallow. As an INFJ, the world can often feel like a stage where everyone else is busy performing, while you're the only one seeing behind the curtains. You notice the cracks in their smiles, the tremble in their voices, the bullshit in their masks. And while that's a gift, it can also be a heavy damn burden, because the more you see, the harder it is to feel truly seen yourself. This is where INFJ loneliness is born. Not because you don't care about people, you care too much. Not because you don't want connection, you crave it so deeply it feels like oxygen. But because you can't stomach surface-level noise. You want marrow, you want truth, you want soul. And in a culture obsessed with highlight reels, filters, and shallow chatter, that hunger can leave you starving. But here's the paradox I need you to hear. This loneliness is not your prison. It's your forge. It's the place where your soul sharpens, where your clarity returns, where your fire is reborn. What if I told you your solitude isn't a curse at all, but the hidden superpower you've been carrying all along? That's what we're unpacking today. The secret relationship between INFJs and loneliness, and how to transform it into strength, freedom, and yes, connection. Here's where we're going. 1. The roots of INFJ loneliness. Why your depth makes you misunderstood. 2. It's not you, it's your wiring, the psychology behind why you feel this way. 3. The double-edged sword of empathy, how your gift becomes a weight. 4. From isolation to authentic connection, finding your real tribe. 5. Embracing solitude, eradicating loneliness, transforming alone into sacred. My INFJ friend, when was the last time you felt utterly alone, even in a room full of people? And what did that moment reveal to you about the kind of connection you're really longing for? Drop your answer in the comments, I'll read it, and I'd love to reply. Now let's dive in. 1. The roots of INFJ loneliness. Loneliness for you isn't just about being without people. It's about being without resonance, without someone who gets it, without someone who sees past the mask you wear to survive. From the time you were young, you probably noticed it. Other kids laughed at things you found meaningless. Teachers praised you for being quiet, when in reality you were just holding back thoughts too complex or too tender for the room. Even now, you might sit in conversations about weather, sports, or the latest shallow gossip, and wonder, is this it? Here's the harsh truth, your depth is intimidating. Most people can't meet you there. They crave comfort, not truth. Noise, not silence. Surfaces, not roots. And because you refuse to water yourself down forever, you end up standing apart. That's separation. That's the birthplace of INFJ loneliness. But here's what I need you to hear. Your loneliness is proof of your rarity. Diamonds don't blend with gravel. Oceans don't mix with puddles. You were not designed to be common, and that's why common ground feels so empty to you. Think back to a moment when you felt like the odd one out. Was it loneliness you felt, or was it your soul refusing to settle for less than truth? 2. It's not you, it's your wiring. You're not imagining it. There's real science behind why you feel things differently. Your brain processes information through a rare combination of introverted intuition and extroverted feeling. Translation? You're always running deep scans of the world around you, even when you wish you could just shut it off. This means solitude hits you harder. Why? Because your mind never stops weaving meaning. You don't just sit alone, you journey through memories, possibilities, fears, visions. You live multiple lives in your own head. And sometimes that's beautiful. Other times, it's exhausting. But it also means you notice when energy is off, when people aren't genuine, when something feels shallow. And instead of numbing it out like others, you carry it. You feel the gap. Here's the kicker, it's not weakness. It's wiring. You weren't built to coast. You were built to see. 3. The double-edged sword of empathy. Your empathy is both your greatest weapon and your greatest wound. It's the part of you that makes people feel safe, seen, and held in a way most of them have never experienced before. You don't just notice emotions, you absorb them. You don't just recognize pain, you carry it. When someone in your orbit is grieving, you grieve too. When they're angry, your body vibrates with the heat of their fury. When they're overjoyed, you can practically feel the endorphins flooding your bloodstream. It's a beautiful, almost mystical ability. You become a mirror that reflects the inner world of others so clearly they feel less alone in it. But here's the dark edge of the sword. Empathy without boundaries is a slow form of self-erasure. Because while you're out here carrying everyone else's storms, who's carrying you? This is why INFJs often find themselves cast as the therapist friend, the fixer, the one who always just understands. People come to you with their heartbreaks, their failures, their confessions, and you listen with that rare, undivided attention that makes them feel like their words actually matter. And while they leave lighter, you leave heavier. They walk away unburdened, but you walk away with their ghost tucked inside your ribs. That's the kind of loneliness that cuts the deepest, not when you're actually alone, but when you're surrounded by people who love the way you hold space for them, yet never think to hold space for you. It's the ache of being indispensable to everyone else's healing while your own soul quietly bleeds. And let's be real, this isn't weakness. This isn't you being too sensitive. It's strength, misdirected. It's compassion, unguarded. Because your empathy is holy, but it is not free. It was never meant to be handed out without discernment. So let me say this plainly. You are not an emotional landfill. You are not the dumping ground for every unprocessed feeling in your circle. You are a healer, yes, but even healers need rest. Even healers need protection. And this is where boundaries come in. Boundaries aren't walls. They're not coldness or cruelty. They're filters. They're the sacred gates that decide what gets to live in your energy and what doesn't. But here's where so many INFJs get stuck, that inner critic. That nagging voice in your head whispering, if you say no, you're selfish. If you set a boundary, you'll lose them. If you protect your energy, you're being cruel. Sound familiar? That's not your soul speaking, that's your conditioning. That's the old script you've been running on that keeps you in cycles of burnout and emotional exhaustion. And until you face it, it will keep dragging you back into the same patterns of overgiving and under-receiving. I talk about this exact struggle in my book, Get Out of Your Head. It's all about silencing that relentless inner critic, the one that convinces you to stay small, stay quiet, and sacrifice yourself in order to keep the peace. In it, I dive into where those voices come from, why they hold so much power, and how to finally shut them down so you can step into your life without constantly second-guessing your worth. If this resonates with you, get your copy now. It is available in paperback, audiobook, and Kindle. The link is in the description below. Here's the truth. Protecting your empathy doesn't make you selfish, it makes you sustainable. Without boundaries, your gift of deep feeling becomes your curse, but with boundaries, your empathy becomes a fortress. A blade, a superpower that heals without destroying you in the process. Because here's the thing, my INFJ friend, you don't owe your light to anyone who only takes and never gives back. You don't owe your energy to people who treat your sensitivity like an open tap. You don't owe your empathy to those who confuse your compassion for weakness. What you do owe is this, to yourself, to your peace, to your sanity, to your sacred fire. So the next time you feel that familiar weight in your chest, that exhaustion that isn't yours, pause. Ask yourself, am I carrying this because I chose to, or because I forgot I could say no? When was the last time you realized your loneliness wasn't about being unseen, but about being unreciprocated? And how would your life change if you started guarding your empathy like the sacred force it is? Tell me in the comments. 4. From isolation to authentic connection. Here's the good news. Your loneliness doesn't mean you're doomed. It means you need resonance. And when you find it, damn, it feels like coming home. The key is to stop chasing people who only want your mask. Instead, seek those who crave your marrow. How? Share your truth, even when it shakes. Set boundaries that protect your fire. Follow your intuition when it whispers, this one's safe. Your tribe won't be huge. It won't be loud. But it will be real, and for you, real is everything. Think about the last time you felt truly seen. What was different about that moment, and how can you cultivate more of it? 5. Embracing solitude, eradicating loneliness. Here's the shift. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. One drains you, the other restores you. When you embrace solitude as sacred, when you let it become your sanctuary, your forge, your temple, you stop fearing it. You stop mistaking it for punishment. And instead, you begin to realize solitude is where you remember yourself. Loneliness happens when you abandon yourself. Solitude heals when you return. So next time you find yourself in the quiet, don't rush to fill it. Don't numb it with noise, sit in it, let it sharpen you, let it feed you. Let it remind you that your soul doesn't need the crowd, it needs the truth. My infj friend, how can you begin to turn your solitude into a sanctuary instead of a sentence? My infj friend, we've come full circle. That ache you've carried, that haunting loneliness that whispers you'll always be on the outside looking in, it was never a curse, it was a compass. A sign that your soul refuses to settle for half-truths, shallow bonds, or counterfeit connections. You are not fragile. You are not too much. You are not destined to wander unloved. You are rare, sacred, and wired to walk a path most people can't even see. And yes, it's a harder road. Yes, it means there are nights when the silence feels heavy. But that silence, that solitude, it's not your prison, it's your training ground. It's where your fire sharpens, your vision clears, and your spirit roots itself so deeply that no storm can shake you. So stop apologizing for the very things that make you uncheckable. Stop chasing the approval of people who don't even know how to meet you where you live. Stop confusing your solitude with emptiness. It's the soil from which your truest power grows. Because here's the paradox, the raw truth. The more you learn to love your own company, the less lonely you become. And when you do find connection, it won't be out of desperation. It'll be soul meeting soul. No masks, no games, no bullshit. I'd love to hear your truth. Which part of this journey cracked something open in you? Drop your reflections in the comments. I promise I'll read every word and I'd love to reply. If this spoke to your soul, hit subscribe for more content that doesn't skim the surface but dives into the marrow of the infj spirit. And if you know another infj who needs this reminder, share it with them. They deserve to remember they're not broken. They're built different. Walk tall, walk free, and let your solitude become your sanctuary, your superpower, your crown. The world doesn't just need your light, it needs the way only you carry it. Think about that.